Right now on Morning News Now, trading blows. President Trump signing a controversial new plan for reciprocal tariffs and dismissing fears that the costs would be passed down to everyday Americans.
Prices could go up somewhat short term, but prices will also go down. This is going to be the thing that makes our country really prosperous again.
Plus, hundreds of thousands of federal workers bracing to lose their jobs in a new round of mass layoffs as the president's cabinet takes shape in the Senate. We have team coverage. Developing overnight war and peace talks. Ukraine blaming Russia for a drone attack that struck the Chernobyl nuclear power plant as Ukraine's president criticizes talks between President Trump and Russian President Vladimir Putin to end the war. And in the Middle East, Hamas set to release more Israeli hostages. We'll bring you the latest from overseas. Also this morning, Southern California pounded by a powerful winter storm. Parts of the region facing catastrophic flooding just weeks after those devastating wildfires. And back east, another winter storm set to slam several states this weekend. We are tracking it all. Plus, move over Cupid. On this Valentine's Day, we're diving into the digital dating pool for a look at how those popular apps have changed the matchmaking game, for better or for worse. Good morning. I'm Savannah Sellers. Joe is off this morning. Thanks so much for being with us. We begin this Friday morning with a lot of uncertainty for hundreds of thousands of federal workers across the country. Late Thursday, the Trump administration began a mass firing of federal workers. According to a person familiar with the matter, officials from the Office of Personnel Management have met with agency leaders and advised them to dismiss probationary employees. Those are employees who have typically been on the job less than 1 or 2 years and do not yet have all their civil service protections. This comes as President Trump announced a plan to impose reciprocal tariffs on trade partners, including allies. The president explained his reasoning to reporters.
Again, whatever they charge us, we're charging them, so it works out very well. It's a beautiful, simple system. So we're going to see, but it's going to mean tremendous amounts of jobs. And ultimately, prices will stay the same, go down. But we're going to have a very dynamic country.
Meanwhile, Robert F. Kennedy Jr. was sworn in yesterday as the nation's new Health and Human Services Secretary. The Senate confirmed his nomination in a largely party-line vote, but Republican Senator Mitch McConnell, who had childhood polio and has praised the success of vaccines, joined Democrats in voting against Kennedy. We have team coverage ahead this morning, including more on the impact of tariffs, as well as the latest on negotiations that could potentially end the conflict between Russia and Ukraine. We're going to get started with NBC News White House correspondent Aaron Gilchrist with the latest developments on all this. Aaron, good morning. So let's start with this mass firing of federal workers. So people might remember this buyout that the Trump administration had offered via this Department of Government Efficiency led by Elon Musk. And a judge actually ended a pause that they had put on this deferred resignation offer. And then there was fear, though, that those who didn't take that buyout risked fear of being laid off. Is that ultimately what's now happening here?
Yeah, I think that's a fair way to look at it. I mean, you remember from day one, the president put in place a hiring freeze for the federal government. And then sources told us that the goal of this buyout program was really to cut 5 to 10% of the federal workforce. So we're talking about 100,000 to 200,000 workers. At the end of this buyout, this deferred resignation program, we were told by White House officials that about 75,000 federal employees had taken the buyout. So that falls short of the 1 to 200,000 that the administration set to remove from the federal workforce at the beginning of this. And so now we're seeing the next step in the effort to shrink the size of the federal workforce, this mass firing, and so it seems, of probationary workers, as you noted, people who've been in federal service, civilian service for a year or two in some cases. This is something that the unions that represent federal workers have pointed out. It's not based on merit. These are people who are simply being fired as in an effort to get the numbers to where the administration wants them to be. And so, Savannah, we'll see ultimately what the final numbers turn out to be. You look at the Department of Veterans Affairs. They told us pretty quickly last night, that they had fired more than 1,000 probationary employees, and that they were looking at that in the larger context of 43,000 employees who fit that description, who are not being fired. So we'll wait to see what the final numbers shake out to be once this is all said and done.
Aaron, let's also talk tariffs. They continue to be this top priority for the Trump administration. And we just saw him sign an executive order yesterday looking at reciprocal tariffs. Then he also later met with the Prime Minister of India, who then also met with Elon Musk. What were the big takeaways on this?
So let's start with those reciprocal tariffs. As we understand that the president is directing his team to make a country-by-country assessment of what the trade situation, the tariff situation is with any individual country and the United States, and to figure out if there needs to be a correction or something to put those two countries on a level playing field, as the administration has referred to it. He's also told his team to look at the potential fiscal impacts of reciprocal tariffs with every individual country. It's a huge undertaking to be able to look at all the interconnected trade policies that different countries and the European Union, for example, would have to sort of consider in this process. So that 180-day assessment is something that we're going to be watching for the next several months, obviously. I want you to hear in particular what the president had to say about these tariffs as he was standing next to the Indian Prime Minister at the White House yesterday. Listen.
As a signal of good faith, Prime Minister Modi recently announced the reductions to India's unfair, very strong tariffs that limit U.S. access into the Indian market very strongly. And we are right now a reciprocal nation. We are going to, if it's India or if it's somebody else with low tariffs, we're going to have the same. We're going to have whatever India charges, we're charging them.
And so, again, we'll be watching to see what changes are made as it relates to countries like India, where the president also yesterday made reference to the fact that they're going to be increasing military sales to India and looking at some other expanding trade routes between India, Europe, and the Middle East, and the United States. And so there's a lot of moving parts to this, Savannah. It seems every day we're getting sort of new things to try to consider and wrap our brains around. We know, as you asked about the Elon Musk meeting with the prime minister, he said that he met with Musk and his family. He said he's known Musk for years and years. They talked about space. They talked about technology. They talked about innovation in that sit down they had near the White House yesterday, Savannah.
Truly breakneck speed on all this news, Aaron, especially coming out of Musk's Department of Government Efficiency. We appreciate you covering it all. Thanks, Aaron. Well, let's continue the conversation and bring in friend of the show and Investopedia editor-in-chief Caleb Silver. Caleb, great to have you with us. Of course, so we want to talk with you on these tariffs, what it's going to mean for all of us. Let's get more into his quote here, fair and reciprocal trade tariffs. This is on all major U.S. trading partners, including longtime allies. Walk us through exactly how this would work, especially because I think if you just listened to what we played there a moment ago from the president when he was speaking about India specifically, it's kind of like, okay, they're going to lower, we're going to lower. Is that bad news? What does that mean for us as consumers?
Yeah, it really depends on which country we're talking about, and Aaron characterized it well. It's very complicated because we do a lot of imports, both with partners and with countries that aren't necessarily our partners or allies. But take Europe, for example, about $600 billion worth of imports coming into the U.S. A lot of that pharmaceuticals, a lot of that surgical equipment, cars, obviously, Parmesan cheese. So if there are tariffs coming into the country, if we're paying a higher tariff, or if they're charging us a higher tariff when we send over a Budweiser and Harley Davidsons, we're just going to raise the tariff and make it reciprocal, make it equal. The president thinks that that's the fair thing to do, but every product is different and every country is different. So it's going to take at least 180 days, and that's what the Commerce Secretary, Howard Lutnick, charges, examine each product, each country for the next 180 days and decide whether or not we need to add reciprocal tariffs. The president also pointing out value-added tariffs that a lot of these countries impose on U.S. goods. I mentioned Harley Davidson's whiskey as well. They add a VAT in Europe. He's saying that's not fair, and if that's the case, we're going to add one here. And he's also talking about additional taxes on top of tariffs for things like semiconductors. So lots of tariff talk. The thing is, we don't know exactly when they're going to begin, which products they're going to affect, and whether or not this is more bark than bite.
And Caleb, so tell us, short-term, long-term, what's it going to feel like for us and our wallets?
We're going to be uncertain, and I think that a lot of importers are going to raise prices preemptively because they think that those tariffs are coming and there may be a scarcity issue. But right now, again, because we don't know the timetable and which products, it's hard to say how that's going to affect us. But if you went out and put full-blown tariffs on everywhere he has threatened, that could cost hundreds of thousands of jobs, according to estimates from the Brookings Institute. It could also slow the economy and cost consumers more money because we're going to be paying up for those tariffs. Those prices just get passed on to us. But again, it's been more bark than bite right now. It depends on which countries, which tariffs, and which products.
All right, Caleb Silver, we appreciate it. Thank you. Well, Russia's war with Ukraine is raging on as the U.S. pushes for peace talks. This morning, Ukrainian President Zelensky said a Russian drone hit the protective containment shell at the infamous Chernobyl nuclear power plant. That video you were just watching, he posted of that alleged attack to Telegram. Now, according to the International Atomic Energy Agency, the strike did not raise radiation levels. Now, Zelensky is set to meet with Vice President J.D. Vance today at a security conference in Munich. It comes as President Trump clarified comments he made after a call with Russian President Putin, in which they discussed starting negotiations to end the war immediately. Well, Trump now says Ukraine will have a seat at the table during those talks, but he struck a more cautious tone when speaking about the timeline and the key disagreement over territory and borders.
Russia has gotten themselves into something that I think they wish they didn't. But as far as the negotiation, it's too early to say what's going to happen. Maybe Russia will give up a lot, maybe they won't, and it's all dependent on what is going to happen. The negotiation really hasn't started.
NBC News correspondent Danielle Hamamdin joins us from London with more on this. Danielle, good morning. So let's start on a concerning headline here. What do we know about this drone strike at Chernobyl? What's Russia saying?
Yeah, good morning, Savannah. Well, the Ukrainians say this drone attack caused significant damage, but as you say, there appears to be no increase so far in radiation levels, but they are closely monitoring it, as you can imagine. Chernobyl, of course, was the site of the worst ever civil nuclear explosion back in 1986 when nuclear reactor number 4 exploded. This reactor has since been protected by the shelter, which is what the Ukrainians say was struck overnight. An advisor to the Ukrainian leader, Volodymyr Zelensky, said that this is proof Vladimir Putin is not interested in negotiations, but rather interested in continuing to deceive the world. The Russians have now reacted. Putin's press secretary, Dmitry Peskov, rejecting the accusation, saying instead that this was staged by Ukraine to coincide with this conference in Munich. Savannah.
And Danielle, today's meeting between Vice President Vance and President Zelensky that I mentioned, it wasn't on anyone's calendar at the beginning of the week. What does that tell us in terms of the developments we've seen and heard from the president, from President Trump, and what can we expect from this meeting?
I think we can expect the vice president to present the U.S. vision for how this war is going to end. Remember that the U.S. believes that Ukraine must give up territory, a position that's frustrating allies who've said concessions are already being made to Russia and the talks haven't even begun. The former president of Estonia, of course, a NATO member, has said that Trump has effectively already given Ukraine to Russia. Here's what the U.S. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth said just yesterday about this.
Simply pointing out realism, like the borders won't be rolled back to what everybody would like them to be in 2014, is not a concession to Vladimir Putin. It's a recognition of the hard power realities on the ground after a lot of investment and sacrifice, first by the Ukrainians and then by allies, and then a realization that a negotiated peace is going to be some sort of demarcation that neither side wants.
Now, worth noting that the vice president, J.D. Vance, has also, in an interview with the Wall Street Journal, warned that Russia has to agree to a deal that will ensure Ukraine's long-term independence. And if it doesn't do so, the U.S. will hit Moscow with sanctions, possibly even military action.
Danielle, it's interesting because between this week's prisoner exchange with Russia and then also this push for peace talks, it seems like we're seeing this thaw in U.S. relations with Russia, which is maybe not a surprise given President Trump's past with Putin. But there's now several ideas being floated to collaborate with Putin generally. What is he proposing and how do you see this going?
Well, there was a time, if you remember, when it wasn't the G7, it was the G8, and Russia was kicked out of the family, so to speak, because of the 2014 annexation of Crimea. Today, the U.S. position is realistically Ukraine cannot get Crimea back, and so it wants Russia to come back to the table and turn it back into the G8. Trump also wants to engage in nuclear talks with Russia and China. The goal, he says, for all three countries to cut their defense budget by half. Trump saying there is no reason to be building more nuclear weapons. Savannah, back to you.
Danielle, thank you very much. Well, here in New York City, the fallout over the Justice Department's decision to drop corruption charges against Mayor Eric Adams is growing. Yesterday, the top federal prosecutor in New York took the dramatic step of resigning after she was ordered to dismiss the case against the embattled mayor. Jonathan Dienst from our New York affiliate WNBC has the story.
Acting U.S. Attorney Danielle Sassoon's resignation comes as prosecutors in the Southern District felt they had a strong case. That, according to several officials familiar with the matter. And prosecutors had said additional criminal charges could soon come. And in a letter, Sassoon alleges Adams' lawyers came close to crossing a line during a meeting with the Deputy Attorney General. Adams' attorneys repeatedly urged what amounted to a quid pro quo, indicating that Adams would be in a position to assist the department's enforcement priorities only if the indictment were dismissed. Assistant Attorney General Beauvais admonished a member of my team who took notes during the meeting and directed the collection of those notes at the meeting's conclusion. Adams' lawyer, Alex Spiro, fired back, saying there was no improper deal with Maine Justice. The idea that there was a quid pro quo is a total lie. We offered nothing, and the department asked nothing of us. I don't know what amounted to means. Trump's new Attorney General, Pam Bondi, and her acting deputy, Emile Beauvais, sent a February 10th order directing the Southern District to dismiss the charges against Mayor Adams, and said the charges would be dropped so the mayor could focus on immigration and crime issues. And DOJ also questioned the timing of the charges coming months before the election. The order from Washington to drop the case is raising questions about prosecutorial independence under the Trump administration. After the Southern District declined to drop the case, two sources tell NBC the criminal case was reassigned to the Public Integrity Section at Maine Justice. But the head of that division also refused to drop the charges against the mayor, and he too resigned. Mayor Adams' lawyer this week said the charges should be dropped, arguing the case that the mayor engaged in campaign finance fraud and accepted free trips from Turkey was weak.
There is no looming threat. This case is over. This case will never be brought back.
And Mayor Adams repeated the Trump administration's claims that the Justice Department had become weaponized.
As they say, I'm Eric Adams, and I approve of that message.
Sassoon was put in as acting U.S. attorney by the Trump administration. She is considered by many to be highly talented and a sharp lawyer, who is also a member of the Conservative Federalist Society. In a letter, Emile Beauvais accused the U.S. attorney of continuing a politically motivated prosecution of Mayor Adams, and he ordered the line prosecutors handling the Adams case to be placed on leave because they were supportive of continuing the case. And then he ordered an internal investigation of each prosecutor. He said none of them had the authority to contest the weaponization concerns of the Trump administration about the Justice Department generally and the Adams case.
Our thanks to Jonathan Dienst for that report. In addition to Sassoon, 4 high-ranking Justice Department officials also resigned Thursday afternoon. Well, let's head out west now, where a torrential rainstorm has led to flash flood watches and evacuation orders in Southern California Thursday. Watch this dramatic video. This is captured by an NBC News crew. This large debris flow swept this car off the road and into the ocean, get this, with someone still stuck inside. The driver, who happened to be a member of the fire department, was luckily able to walk away with only minor injuries. In Los Angeles, mudslides closed Mulholland Drive, one of the city's most famous streets, while thousands of people were warned to evacuate in the areas already reeling from the deadly wildfires last month. Evacuation orders for areas near the burn scars left by the Pacific Palisades and Eaton fires are still in place until later this afternoon. NBC News correspondent Steve Patterson joins us from Malibu with more on this. Steve, good morning. Of course, Malibu, an area that was so impacted by those fires, and there were flood watches ultimately for at least 32 million people at the height of this storm yesterday. What do things look like today between the fires that this community has had to go through, the burn scars that we're discussing, and then this rain on top of it?
Yeah, you know, it's kind of a good news, bad news situation, right, Savannah? I think the good news is that the biggest bullet that could have been predicted to strike this region, we avoided that. The swift water rescues, worries about extensive injuries, extensive structural damage, rivers of mud sort of flooding this area, that really didn't happen. And the flood watches that you mentioned have mostly expired because the rain has essentially stopped it. The storm system is sort of moving out of the region, which is, of course, great news. The bad news is what a mess the storm left behind. Rock slides, mudslides, debris flows, you name it, it happened, especially in these burn scar areas that officials were so focused on and so worried about. Multiple rock slides and mudslides in areas like this. In Mulholland Drive, as you mentioned, the mudslide that struck there was about 8 inches thick. We saw similar mudslides along the Pacific Coast Highway in multiple places, shutting down that road. And we're not out of the woods yet. Those evacuation orders, as you mentioned, still in place for at least the next few hours or so. Savannah?
Steve, just how vulnerable are some of these places? Like you mentioned the bullet that was dodged, which is, like you said, really good news. But as any other storms come, just how vulnerable are these areas given what's left after these fires?
So very vulnerable. You know, when you have a fire that destroys so much, especially the vegetation and sort of the hillsides in the area, it strips away sort of that top layer of topsoil, creating essentially what is amounts to like runways for debris to flow down. So if you have a pocket of rain to settle on a burn scar like the one I'm really standing on right now, it creates a real mess and concern because all of the debris essentially on that hillside can come tumbling down. And there are still houses that are intact, even in a burn zone like this, where we saw so much destruction still. Some of the units are in place. Obviously, homeowners would like to keep their homes, and officials are very worried and very focused about those areas. And just because the rain has stopped doesn't mean the danger is over.
That's
Savannah.
right. The National Weather Service actually saying last night mud and rock slides can still happen well after the rain has ended. An important reminder for community members. Steve, thank you very much. Well, for more on the details on this flood risk out west and also another round of winter weather this weekend that's hitting part of the country, let's get a look at your morning news now. Weather with Angie Lassman. Hey, Angie, good morning.
Hi there, Savannah. Good morning. Happy Friday. Happy Valentine's Day. Things, as Steve said, are winding down in California when it comes to the rain. We've still got some of these lingering flood alerts, mainly flood watches stretching from Redding down to Lake Isabella, including Sacramento. Those are going to continue to kind of expire as the day goes on. And we'll see some of those improvements. Still some lingering showers across parts of northern and central California. And we've got still some snow falling across parts of the Sierra range. That is going to be something we deal with through the day today. Meanwhile, out east, of course, we've got the big parade going on in Philadelphia. Mostly sunny. It'll be cold. It'll be windy. Honestly, just feeling a lot like winter. But today, the forecast is going to be a lot better for folks that are out there celebrating than it will be as we get into the weekend, because we've got this next system that's going to ramp up, emerge basically and kind of intensify across parts of the plains. And we've already got winter alerts up for parts of the Great Lakes and parts of the Northeast and New England. 35 million people are under those alerts at this time. That number is going to expand here as the day goes on. So the heavy snow, the ice, all on the table here for the northern part of this system. This is going to leave us with some heavy rain and the potential for severe storms. And that means flooding as well as tornadoes and such across parts of the south. So this is a multi-threat kind of event, and it's a multi-day event. This isn't just Saturday. This is Sunday, too. You just saw us play through Sunday during the day. And it'll finally, that system, most of it will be offshore by the time we get into the evening hours. But notice the heavy snow that's still lingering around with that wintry mix as well. Snowfall totals going to be most impressive for interior areas of New England. This is going to be difficult for travel on the roadways, not just because of the snow that could be, 4 to 6 inches, but up to a foot, but also the fact that we have 1/4 of an inch of ice accumulation possible. And not to mention, Savannah, the flash flooding is going to be a big problem tomorrow across the Tennessee and Ohio valleys. We'll have multiple inches of rain. And on top of that, I really want to hit this point. We do have the potential for severe storms to develop, and tornadoes will be possible. Some of those EF2 are higher, along with wind gusts and hail. So this is going to be a busy kind of weekend for folks. Not great for outdoor plans, but want to have a way to get connected and make sure that you have those alerts available.
Gosh, and just all over the country, important
Indeed.
safety reminders. I like your hearts.
Oh, I like yours.
Thanks. Happy Valentine's Day. See you in a little bit.
Yeah.
Much more to come here on Morning News Now. Later this hour, it's back. TikTok available for download again as the debate continues over a nationwide ban. We'll bring you the latest. Up first, though, developing this morning, ceasefire on the line. Israel threatening intense fighting if Hamas doesn't move forward with a planned hostage release. We'll be right back. Welcome back. Let's get to news out of the Middle East. Hamas now says it plans to release 3 more Israeli hostages on Saturday. Now, they had accused Israel of not holding up their end of the bargain and threatened to hold the hostages longer, which could have shattered the fragile ceasefire deal. For more, let's bring in NBC News correspondent Hala Garani. Hala, good morning. So earlier this week, Hamas threatened to stop releasing Israeli hostages, which would have effectively ended the ceasefire agreement. What was Hamas upset over?
Well, it said, Hamas, Savannah, that Israel was not holding up its end of the bargain. The ceasefire agreement, Hamas said, called for several hundreds of trucks full of aid, of temporary housing units, of heavy equipment like bulldozers to allow for some reconstruction to take place in the Gaza Strip. And Hamas said that Israel was not essentially abiding by the agreement. It has received, we understand, according to sources within the negotiating teams, assurances that these aid trucks will be allowed in. And so therefore, it announced just over the last 36 hours that it would continue to release hostages. The names of 3 hostages were given to the Prime Minister's office today, and we expect that to happen as planned within the ceasefire framework tomorrow, Saturday, Savannah.
Hala, now, though, after these intense negotiations, Hamas does say it will release 3 more hostages on Saturday. What do we know about who will be released? And also tell us how this was resolved.
So it was resolved, as I just mentioned, with assurances given to Hamas that these deliveries would actually go ahead. The names of the 3 hostages are Sasha Alexander Trufanov. This is an Israeli-Russian citizen. He's actually not held by Hamas. He's held by the Palestinian Islamic Jihad. They released videos of him over the course of his detention that were very distressing for his family. Sagi Dekel Chen, a 36-year-old Israeli-American, taken from kibbutz near Oz on 7th of October 2023. We understand he is among the 3 who will be released. And Yair Horn is a 46-year-old taken from the same kibbutz on October 7th. He will be released, we understand, in exchange for dozens of Palestinian prisoners that will be released into the West Bank as well as back into Gaza. Savannah.
Finally, Hala, let's talk about the plans that President Trump has floated. Not having Palestinians back in Gaza and this potential, U.S. takeover, as we've heard him describe. Yesterday, we saw people crossing the border with construction equipment, which could indicate that Palestinians are returning home and plans to rebuild are moving forward. What can you tell us?
Well, certainly our teams inside of Gaza have been filming Palestinians going back to, in some cases, just basically piles of rubble. They're not really what you could call homes. But the Palestinians inside of Gaza are very determined to rebuild and to stay on their land. They see this President Trump plan as essentially forcible, forcible ethnic cleansing of Gaza. They are absolutely not on board with this, and understandably so. And as I mentioned there in the beginning, the notion that Hamas is insisting on these prefab homes to be delivered is, I think, a way to ensure that at least those who've returned to demolished homes will have some form of shelter, even if it's not permanent shelter, Savannah.
Hala Garani, thank you as always for your reporting. Coming up, renewed concerns about the ingredients being used in hair dye.
What are you accusing these companies of doing?
I'm accusing these hair dye companies of, number one, manufacturing a product that's unsafe.
When we return, we'll break down the claims in a new lawsuit. You're watching Morning News Now. We are back with a look at President Trump's pick to be Education Secretary. Linda McMahon was grilled yesterday during a Senate confirmation hearing on the president's plan for the Education Department. Now, if confirmed, she could end up helping to eliminate the very department she's been nominated to lead. NBC News correspondent Rahima Ellis has more on what it could mean for students, parents, and teachers around the country.
Linda McMahon, a longtime Trump supporter, serving as a cabinet member in his first term, the leader of the Small Business Administration, then a member of his transition team. So it's no surprise that he picked her for another cabinet post. But the surprise is what he wants her to do with it.
Put yourself out of a job.
Shutting down the Department of Education is a pledge Mr. Trump made throughout his campaign. And as recently,
I'd like it to be closed immediately. Look, the Department of Education's a big con job.
In confirmation hearings, McMahon saying she's determined to improve a, quote, system in decline.
We can do better. Fund education freedom, not government-run systems. Listen to parents, not politicians. Build up careers, not college debt.
On both sides of the aisle, she is credited for her business skills, creating an entertainment giant, World Wrestling Entertainment, with her husband, Vince McMahon. But she doesn't have a lot of education experience, with just a year-long stint on the School Board of Trustees for Sacred Heart University in Connecticut and the state's Board of Education back in 2009. And some wonder, what will she do for the nation's 50 million public school students who receive funding from the Department of Education, which the president is pushing to downsize with budget and staffing cuts?
To make sure we can deliver for our education.
Sparking outbursts during the hearing.
The committee will come to order.
Some families are on edge. Carrie Rodriguez, the president of the National Parents Union, attending McMahon's hearing.
What are you hearing from parents? A lot of fear. It's very destabilizing for families. The most important thing that we provide them is stability.
The Department of Education providing a roughly $80 billion budget that goes to K-12 public schools, protects students in high-poverty districts, funds special ed, and advocates for students against sexual discrimination under Title IX.
Will you investigate those universities that are not complying with Title IX? Either they need to comply with the law, they need to follow the law of Title IX, they need to follow the rules issued by this administration, your department, or no federal funding.
We will make sure the law is enforced.
Trump plans to allocate that money elsewhere, pushing for school choice. Many agree that improvements are needed. As the DOE's recent Nations Report Card shows, students are still struggling to narrow the learning gap caused by the pandemic.
Folks should remember, the Department of Education in America really is a junior partner. Most of the money and the policy comes from the states or from local school districts.
It's true. The Department of Education provides only one of every $7 spent nationwide on education. However, some say its influence is powerful. Mike Petrilli, the president of the nonpartisan Thomas B. Fordham Institute, says this should be about centralizing leadership.
We need somebody who can use the bully pulpit to get the nation focused on those problems. But I think the Department of Education is very likely to be here 4 years from now.
Well, efforts to abolish the Education Department would face obstacles in the Senate. Now, even though Republicans have a majority, they would need Democratic support in order to get the required 60 votes needed to overcome a filibuster and advance to a final vote. Well, another one of the president's more controversial nominees secured his place in Trump's cabinet yesterday. Now, despite some initial skepticism from Senate Republicans even, Robert F. Kennedy Jr. was confirmed in a vote along party lines to become the new Secretary of Health and Human Services. That means he'll now preside over a $1.7 trillion budget while overseeing departments that include the Centers for Disease Control and the Food and Drug Administration. During his confirmation hearing, Kennedy faced fierce criticism from Democrats over his history of vaccine skepticism. Only one Republican joined them in voting against him. That was former GOP leader Mitch McConnell. Well, now to a troubling new lawsuit raising concerns about hair dyes used by thousands of hairdressers and all across the country. The claim that some of the ingredients could be linked to cancer. NBC News senior national correspondent Kate Snow has our details.
Hector Corvera spent his childhood helping his parents work the fields in California's Central Valley.
We were out there working in the hot sun, and I remember asking myself that question, is what I'm going to do the rest of my life?
His answer was to go from cutting crops to cutting hair.
Hair would always grow. I wouldn't be out of a job.
But he says coloring hair for more than 4 decades took a different toll on his body. In 2023, he was diagnosed with bladder cancer. He remembers this conversation with his doctor.
He says, what do you do for a living? And I said, I'm a hairdresser. That explains it.
He said that explains it?
Yeah. And
in that moment, did you think, oh, he's seen this before in hairdressers?
Corvera is the plaintiff in a new lawsuit against 13 companies. Attorney Alan Smith alleges Corvera's repeated exposure to chemicals in their hair dye products caused his cancer. He's seeking damages.
These are known chemicals that cause cancer.
Smith made millions for clients when Johnson & Johnson settled claims that its baby powder caused cancer. He says he plans to file multiple other hair dye cases soon.
What are you accusing these companies of doing?
I'm accusing these hair dye companies of, number one, manufacturing a product that's unsafe. I mean, at a minimum, I would want these manufacturers to provide a warning.
Smith points to a substance that's formed when hair color ingredients are mixed together. We spoke with a half dozen researchers and doctors who say while there is not strong evidence of a link to cancer for clients who get their hair dyed, numerous studies have found a link between repeated work exposure and an increased risk for bladder cancer. The FDA says under the law, cosmetic products and ingredients generally do not need FDA pre-market approval, and notes the industry reformulated products after some hair dyes were found to cause cancer in lab animals in the 1980s. But the lawsuit alleges dyes are still dangerous.
There are definitive studies that have come out decades later showing the manufacturers did, in fact, not do what they said they were going to do.
Are you alleging that the companies that make these products are misleading the FDA and the thousands of salons and workers and people who use these products?
100%.
NBC News reached out to every company named in the lawsuit. One company, Coty, says they no longer make or sell hair dye products in the U.S., adding the claims against Coty are unsubstantiated and without merit. Bristol-Myers Squibb says it has no liability for products manufactured by Clairol, which it sold in 2001. Clairol and other companies named in the suit, like L'Oreal, had no comment, some saying they do not comment on pending litigation.
Hi, babies.
Hector had his bladder removed, a new one created out of his intestine.
What are you doing?
He spends a lot of his time now caring for his grandson.
I pray to God that give me some more time to see him grow. You know, but I still have that thought in my mind that, you know, this thing can come back, you know.
You still worry a little bit?
Yeah.
He says he'll never work in a salon again.
How are you?
Kate Snow, NBC News, Exeter, California.
Wow, important warning there. Well, coming up, TikTok restored, the popular platform available again in Apple and Google stores. But the app's future is still unclear. We'll bring you the latest. Plus, dating in the digital age. We're logging on for a look at how online dating has changed over the years. So swipe right and come right back. This is Morning News Now. Welcome back. If you're looking for that special someone ahead of Valentine's Day, you could find love at first swipe with online dating. But is it worth testing out Cupid's arrow? NBC News Daily anchors in Clay Esamoah takes a look at modern matchmaking with dating apps.
Get the young folks out into the fresh air. Give the kids a fair chance.
Put simply, they've reinvented the old ritual of matchmaking with a modern technological twist. Dating apps.
In 2025, what role are dating apps playing in the romance industry?
Well, dating apps are still the biggest game in town.
Quick history lesson.
The 1990s is when, with the advent of the internet, a lot of the online newer dating applications kind of came out.
It was kind of exciting to think that, you know, maybe I could meet somebody on the internet.
Websites like Kiss.com, Match.com, and JDate dominated, and the technology eventually evolved into mobile applications.
The dating apps kind of emerged. That was more in the 2000s up till about the mid 2010s. That's when we saw more of the dating apps that we're seeing today.
An ongoing research project at Stanford University noting a stark increase in couples who met online starting in 2009. The apps have not emerged without issue. First, safety. In February 2024, 39% of adults in the United States said online dating was not too safe or not very safe, according to Microsoft reporting tool SSRS. Then there's the cost.
They've had to move certain features behind paywalls for the sustainability of the business.
User etiquette remains a recurring complaint, too.
It's the fact that you seemed like such a gentleman, and then now we're sexualizing me. That's so f***ing weird.
That was a waste of time.
And then there are the app's algorithms.
At some point, I created 2 profiles. The white one was getting twice as many hits as the black one.
Odionic Bobo and other black women alleged last year the dating app's algorithms exhibited racial bias.
How did that experience make you feel?
It was kind of disorienting.
In a statement, Hinge saying in part, we strive to create an inclusive dating environment for all, adding, it's also inevitable that many people have strong feelings about who they date. Many can set their desired preferences, such as age range, distance, dating intentions, family plans, vices, and more. Adding, we want everyone, including black women, to feel seen, respected, and empowered to find meaningful connections on Hinge. Today, dating apps still have massive appeal. The industry raking in more than $4 billion a year. For many, online connections have led to real-life love stories.
I decided to take the chance, and yeah, it was the best thing I ever did.
I said I was going to give myself 3 months, and I'll see how it goes.
Richard Lunn and Osato Ibiniye met on Match.com in 2022. They got married the following year, now sharing their love story with over 100,000 followers online.
When it comes to the future of the dating app industry, what are you looking at?
I love this intentional dating, loud-looking phase that we're in. We've got to separate our attachment to the fairy tale and the way that it's supposed to go and look at the reality. And the reality is that people are meeting on dating apps.
And that's Dating Apps Simply Explained.
Oh, thanks to Sinclair for that report. And look at that cute little heart transition. Last year on Valentine's Day, swiping for love was really in the air. Tinder recorded 78 million extra swipes in just 24 hours. All right, speaking of scrolling, TikTok now back on the app stores. CNBC's Silvana Henao joins us with that and other news. Hey, Silvana.
Hey, Savannah, good morning to you. Yes, so Apple and Google have restored TikTok to their app store this week after removing it to comply with the law requiring TikTok's Chinese parent company to either sell it or face a ban in the U.S. Now, reports say Apple decided to restore TikTok after receiving a letter from Attorney General Pam Bondi with a reassurance it wouldn't face legal issues. TikTok's reinstatement to the biggest app stores is crucial to its continued growth in the U.S., where it has 170 million users. Google has admitted to quietly deleting negative comments over renaming the Gulf of Mexico to the Gulf of America on its platforms. The update appears on Google Maps for users in the U.S., and that's following an executive order by President Trump. People raising concerns on Reddit and other online forums. A Google spokesperson telling Forbes the company regularly puts protections in place when it anticipates an increase in comments that are off topic or unrelated. And Google's Gemini AI assistant can now recall past conversations to provide more relevant responses. If you have a subscription to Gemini Advanced, you'll no longer have to recap previous chats or search for a thread to pick up the conversation where you left off. You can review, delete, and manage your chat history at any time in the settings in your profile, Savannah.
There you go. Lots of AI news always. Thanks, Silvana.
Yeah.
Well, here in New York City, the annual Westminster Kennel Club Dog Show hosted thousands of champion dogs from across the country. Monty, a giant schnauzer, was crowned Best in Show Tuesday evening. But you might not know that kids can also compete. I got a behind-the-scenes look at the junior competition.
It's really important to have a good dog that has good temperament, and that also comes with the training along the way.
At just 13, Leah Graham has been competing in dog shows since she was 4.
I just want to impress myself and make milestones for myself. And sometimes I get nervous, but not too much.
How many dogs do you have?
I have 15, but most of them are really small. So they're all, they're mostly Chihuahuas.
With her 2 Chihuahuas, Giovanni and Etta, Graham is competing as a junior handler and in the breed competition with other adults at the annual Westminster Kennel Club Dog Show.
How did you learn all this?
I just learned it over the years as I started showing, and I started with an Australian Shepherd, so they're pretty different than Chihuahuas, and my mom kind of taught me a lot that I know, and I met a lot of pro handlers and breeders that taught me all the stuff that I know today.
This week, the excitement, chaos, and love for dogs on full display in New York City. Behind the scenes, a lot of grooming, blow drying, and some personal touches to look their best.
This is one of the areas where over 2,500 dogs are getting ready for their big moment. And in the junior showmanship competition, about 100 handlers will come from 30 different states.
Since 1934, the Westminster Kennel Club has awarded the title of Best Junior Handler, judged on the handling skills of each kid.
In juniors, it's how you show the dog and not based off of how the dog. So the dog can be completely incorrect.
Kids between the ages of 9 and 18 can take part in the junior showmanship competition.
We're watching some of the junior handlers with dogs now.
Think it looks easy? Each junior handler like Leah has been competing year-long in dog shows across the country to rack up Best Junior Handler awards to be able to qualify to compete at Westminster.
Is it safe to say everyone in this room is a dog lover?
Absolutely.
Don Sturz is president and show chairman.
I showed for the first time at Westminster when I was 10 years old. I showed my family's golden retriever, Clyde.
Sturz then became the #1 junior handler in the country for 3 consecutive years.
Are the handler and the dog like a team?
Absolutely. In junior showmanship, they're actually judging the handler. So they're looking at how well you present your dog. They want to see the connection between you and your dog. They want to see, are you presenting the dog in the way that that breed is supposed to be presented?
So how do you get your dog to have that connection with you?
For me, my dogs, usually they sometimes sleep with me in bed. I sometimes feed them. We go on walks a lot.
How do you train a dog to do what they need to do in the ring?
When I train my dogs, I go step by step every day. I don't overwork the dogs in one particular day.
Leah says treats also come in handy, and she hopes to continue to compete as she grows older.
It just takes a lot of perseverance to keep going, because it's going to be really hard in the beginning, but then your dog is gonna catch on, obviously with the treats and all the training and stuff. They're really gonna catch on.
Okay, Leah, she was awesome, and she was so fun to watch compete, but she did not make it past the preliminaries this time. But congratulations to 17-year-old Taylor Johnson, who won the title of Best Junior Handler with help from, look at her, fluffy dog, Old English sheepdog, Sven. The dog is as big as her. All right, coming up, it's a who's who of pop culture greats over the years. We're talking about the hosts of Saturday Night Live. When we come back, we are celebrating the show's 50th anniversary with a look back at the ladies and gentlemen who graced the stage of 30 Rock's famed Studio 8H. Live from New York, it's Morning News Now. All right, finally this hour, we are continuing our celebration of Saturday Night Live's 50th anniversary with a look at the hundreds of people who have hosted the show over the years. NBC News reporter Mark Barger went into the archives to hear from some of the people who greeted viewers from the iconic stage in Studio 8.
What about a live show? George Carlin was the first, but more than 650 actors, athletes, musicians, and others have followed hosting SNL.
The nerves are insane. It's in between laughing, crying, puking. It's pretty amazing.
Alec Baldwin's hosted the most. And this is my 17th time. Thank you. While 25 others have hosted at least 5 times. Jacket boy! Martin Short's the latest to earn the coveted 5-Timers Club jacket.
It's live television. Anything can happen.
Michael Keaton's taken the reins 4 times, and each visit came in a different decade.
Man, I am excited to be back here. It operates so smoothly now. It's kind of insane to do this. They do this every week, well, almost every week.
Weeks that are demanding for a host, even stage veterans.
It's like being shot from a cannon. It's a crazy process.
Drew Barrymore experienced it.
I love video games.
When she was just 7, SNL's youngest host.
But I really have to thank Facebook.
While 88-year-old Betty White wrote a grassroots campaign to become the oldest host.
And don't skimp on the rum.
The most unlikely host was an 80-year-old grandmother from Louisiana. Viewers picked Miskel Spillman as the winner of the show's Anyone Can Host contest in 1977.
I promise you, I'm going to give you everything.
Dua Lipa's among the 49 performers who've doubled as host and musical guest.
Double the Dua, double the Lipa. Woo!
It's a lot, but I'm just taking it day by day, and I'm just enjoying every moment.
A collection of moments.
Hey, you're the boss. Nice.
That make a week at SNL
as the first ever Egyptian named Rami from New Jersey.
Unlike any other.
It's probably very cliche and cheesy, but it is like a dream come true.
So to get to be a part of it and part of the history, yeah, it's so cool.
A history, ladies and gentlemen, that's still being written. Mark Barger, NBC News.
Okay, just so much fun. On Sunday, you can catch the SNL 50th anniversary special. It's going to feature some of its biggest stars, musical guests, members of the original cast. It starts at 8 p.m. Eastern on NBC and streaming on Peacock. The thing that's really crazy, too, about these big anniversary shows, you're going to see so many stars on stage, but the whole audience is also filled with them. And it's so interesting to hear how that makes some of the cast members and the people who are participating in the show actually so nervous because they have these mega stars watching them. It's just so much star power and run room. That's going to do it for this hour of Morning News Now. Stay with us, though. The news continues right now. Good morning, happy Friday, and happy Valentine's Day. I'm Savannah Sellers. Joe's off today. Right now on Morning News Now, new developments in President Trump's ongoing tariff tussle. The commander-in-chief now targeting some of America's top trading allies with a fresh tax plan. Plus, we've got new developments in the White House's effort to end the war in Ukraine. We have team coverage. We're also watching more wild weather that's ravaging California this morning. Torrential rains pounding a fire-charred L.A. Dangerous landslides even swept one driver into the Pacific Ocean in footage caught on NBC News cameras. And the threat of even more chaos isn't over yet. Our Angie Lastman is tracking it all across the whole country in just a moment. Plus, if you're looking for love on this Valentine's Day, why not hit the apps with the help of AI? Well, the technology is giving some users a boost in making their profiles stand out, but is it really a match made in heaven for the dating scene in 2025? And yes, it is finally Friday. Later in the hour, we are looking ahead to SNL's huge 50th anniversary extravaganza airing on Sunday. And we'll also tell you everything else that you simply can't miss this weekend. It's going to be a big one. We're going to begin this hour with the Trump administration looking to impose new tariffs. President Trump has announced his plan to impose these reciprocal tariffs against U.S. trading partners, and it includes allies. This comes as the latest inflation report out this week shows an increase in prices here at home. Meanwhile, the potential end of the nearly 3-year-long conflict between Russia and Ukraine is now coming more into focus. NBC News Chief White House correspondent Peter Alexander has the latest.
This morning, Ukrainian claims of a dramatic attack at Chernobyl, just as President Trump enters negotiations over the Russia-Ukraine war. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky saying that a Russian drone hit the nuclear power plant, the site of the world's worst nuclear disaster. Authorities at this point saying there does not seem to be a breach of the radioactive material container. Russia says it would not carry out strikes on nuclear facilities. Still, the strike comes just after President Trump signaled a sympathetic tone toward Russian President Vladimir Putin in negotiations over the war, saying he trusts the Russian leader after their call this week.
I know him very well. Yeah, I think he wants peace. I think he would tell me if he didn't.
Zelensky says he will not accept any deal without Ukrainian input. President Trump and Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth have suggested Ukraine will likely have to give up some of its territory that Russia has seized. Earlier, the president offering an olive branch, insisting Russia should rejoin the G7 that represents the world's most advanced economies, more than a decade after it was expelled for annexing that territory.
I'd love to have him back.
When pressed by NBC News, the president didn't identify anything Russia would have to give up.
Maybe Russia will give up a lot. Maybe they won't.
But today, Vice President J.D. Vance, who's set to meet with world leaders in Munich, expressed strong support for Ukraine in a new interview with the Wall Street Journal, saying that if Russia doesn't negotiate in good faith, sending U.S. troops to Ukraine is on the table, along with economic sanctions. It comes as the president is targeting some of America's top trading partners with a sweeping reciprocal tariff plan that would tax foreign goods at the same level other nations tax U.S. products.
They charge us a tax or tariff, and we charge them.
Now dismissing worries about the impact of new tariffs.
Jobs are going to go up, and prices could go up somewhat short term, but prices will also go down.
And on Russia and Ukraine, there have been competing messages from the Trump administration, while Vice President Vance today said that U.S. troops to Ukraine remains on the table. This morning, the Pentagon Secretary Pete Hegseth just said he does not believe U.S. troops will be on the ground in Ukraine. And also this morning, a top Republican senator, in fact, the chair of the powerful Armed Services Committee, criticized Hegseth for saying this week that a return to Ukraine's pre-war borders was unrealistic. That's Senator Roger Wicker, who told Politico those comments by Hegseth were a, quote, rookie mistake. Back to you guys.
All right, Peter, thank you very much. Well, the White House is seeing a mix of success and setbacks in federal court as President Trump pushes to shrink the government workforce. It comes as his pick for education secretary was asked by lawmakers if she plans to help him shut down the very department she's been tapped to lead. NBC News Chief Capitol Hill correspondent Ryan Nobles joins us from Washington with the latest on this one. Ryan, good morning.
Hi, Savannah. Good morning. Donald Trump and Elon Musk continue their march toward an overhaul of the federal government, and their unconventional moves are facing several court challenges threatening to slow their progress, leaving the president frustrated but unwilling to back down. Overnight, massive cuts at another critical agency. The Department of Veteran Affairs announcing the dismissal of more than 1,000 employees, a move it says will save the VA $98 million annually. It comes as the Trump administration advised all federal agencies to fire probationary employees, workers who've been on the job for less than a year. The new battlefield for President Trump and Elon Musk's effort to reshape the government is fast becoming a federal courtroom.
I always abide by the courts, and then I'll have to appeal.
In the wake of the aggressive push by the duo to cull the federal workforce, cut funding, and eliminate departments, a flurry of lawsuits have been filed nationwide. And one by one, judges are putting temporary holds on the administration plans. Late Thursday, a federal judge ruled the Trump administration could not suspend or cancel foreign assistance that was in place before he took office. It comes on the same day another judge extended the restraining order preventing USAID employees from being put on leave. 14 states also filed suits challenging the appointment and authority of Elon Musk, calling it unconstitutional. Musk attacking the courts overnight, writing, "If any judge anywhere can stop every presidential action everywhere, we do not live in a democracy." Meanwhile, as Musk has also threatened to, quote, delete entire agencies, Trump's choice to run the Department of Education, Linda McMahon on Capitol Hill, did not rule out that agency being completely eliminated.
I will work with Congress to reorient the department toward helping educators, not controlling them.
Meanwhile, Elon Musk is also took a meeting yesterday with India's Prime Minister, Narendra Modi. Modi was in Washington for meetings with the Trump administration, but it was not clear if Musk was meeting with the Prime Minister in his capacity as a government official or private citizen. The billionaire has business interests in India, raising more questions about the conflicts of interest that exist over Musk's role in the Trump administration. Savannah?
All right, Ryan, thank you very much. Well, in California this morning, a new weather threat in fire-ravaged Los Angeles. Torrential rains from an atmospheric river have been drenching the charred landscape, causing landslides and dangerous flooding. NBC News correspondent Morgan Chesky is in hard-hit Malibu, California with the latest on this. Morgan, good morning.
Yeah, Savannah, good morning. And we knew this atmospheric river was going to pose a challenge for this area, but unfortunately all the right conditions were in place for all the wrong things to happen. This massive burn scar from the Palisades fire allowed this rain to bring down so much mud and debris with it that it has left roads covered in this area. Pacific Coast Highway here covered in mud. Crews working to try to reopen it right now. And we were just a few miles up to witness the power of Mother Nature late yesterday when a vehicle was washed right off the road.
Video capturing terrifying moments on the road in Malibu. 600-pound barriers giving way as water rushed in, and an SUV swept right off the road with the driver, a member of the LA Fire Department, trapped inside.
He went down this hill, he started flipping into the ocean.
Later, the man miraculously unharmed and somehow managing to climb to safety. It happened just steps away from where our own team was reporting as the atmospheric river intensified.
And this is the kind of rain event that officials were so concerned about. These concrete barriers only able to do so much.
This frightening scenario, exactly why mandatory evacuations remain in place in vulnerable burn scar areas, stretching from the Palisades to Altadena, as fast-moving rivers of debris overwhelmed neighborhoods, burying homes and cars in mud.
It happened within a matter of seconds.
With similar scenes playing out across Los Angeles, fast-moving water sending an empty pickup truck floating right down the LA River. Streets across the city completely submerged, and stores on famed Melrose flooding too. The heavy downpours even bringing down the roof of a local grocery store. The strongest storm so far in a SoCal rainy season that's just getting started.
Yeah, and this morning as crews work quickly to try to get the Pacific Coast Highway back open, evacuations still in place, Savannah, in neighborhoods that are precariously perched that were evacuated yesterday. As this rain continues to fall, the risk of landslide, unfortunately, only goes up. Meanwhile, as a precaution, the Malibu School District has closed all campuses through at least today. Savannah?
Morgan, thank you so much. Well, let's take a look at what to expect this weekend with your Morning News Now weather. Angie Lastman is back in studio with us on this Valentine's. Hi, Angie. Good morning.
Hi there, Savannah. Good morning to you. We've got a lot going on weather-wise. You just heard Morgan talking about what's happening out west, and we do have some improvements that are going to happen as the day goes on. We're going to see that rain continue to wind down. We've still got some flood watches in effect across parts of California, specifically those mountainous regions inland, but we're still going to see some additional snow and some additional kind of lingering showers across that area. Then we'll see some nicer, drier conditions as we get into the weekend. Meanwhile, out east, we're going to start to see things ramping up yet again. We've got already winter alerts up for 35 million people across parts of New England and parts of the Great Lakes. Those are just a couple of the spots that are going to be impacted here in the coming days, specifically Saturday and Sunday. We see this system kind of emerge and intensify out of the center of the country, so the plains, and then continue to work its way to the east. That means tomorrow it's the heavy snow, it's the ice accumulating on the roadways from really the Midwest all the way to New England. This is going to be problematic for travel on the roads, maybe some air travel delays as well could be in your future if you're going to be in that region. And we've got the heavy rain kind of draped across the Tennessee and Ohio valleys, and we've got the potential for severe storms. So this is a multi-impact kind of event here as we get through your Saturday and your Sunday. This is a look at Sunday. Notice even into the evening hours, this is a pause at 8 p.m. We're still dealing with the system, even though much of it is offshore. At least the heaviest of the rain will likely be out of the picture for our friends across the south, but we've still got some of these lingering snow showers. We're going to see some bitter cold temperatures kind of surging into the picture for the middle of the country as well. And we've got some ice accumulating still for any travel that folks are doing across parts of New England as you wrap up your weekend. Big picture look for your snowfall amounts. The most impressive amounts are going to be centered across parts of the interior New England area, so maybe up to a foot in some spots. But we'll also see places like Detroit pick up maybe anywhere from 2 to 4 inches. We've got the same kind of story for Boston, maybe an inch or two for New York City. And then the ice, of course, going to be the worst across parts of the New England area with up to 1/4 of an inch. This is why I said the travel, the down power lines, those are all going to be things that will be in play. On top of that, the heavy rain, we've got a widespread flood threat, and it's not just the urban flooding. We'll also see difficulty with river flooding. We've got a lot of rain coming in a quick amount of time, and that means up to maybe 5, even 6 inches of rain in some spots. Those will be localized amounts. I think more widespread, 1 to 3 inches. But even still, this is likely will lead to some flash flooding for folks in this area. And most importantly for tomorrow, if you live in parts of the Deep South, you're going to see places like Memphis, Alexandria, Hattiesburg, Jackson, even Montgomery down to New Orleans have the potential for some of these strong to severe storms. And we will see the tornado potential as well. And this means there could be an outbreak there. We'll see some of those potentially be strong, EF2 or higher. Those wind gusts will be likely as well. The good news is your Valentine's Day forecast looks pretty good across most of the country. We, of course, in places like Darling, Arizona, or Romeo, Colorado, are dealing with some rain and some snow, and, of course, chilly temperatures for places like Valentine, Nebraska. We've got Sweetheart City, Wisconsin, though, Savannah, looking delightful, a little snow, great for any Valentine's Day activities, and then great conditions as well for Flowersville, Florida. Who knew there were so many Valentine-themed cities across the country?
You knew.
I knew you would.
You
like
knew,
that.
Angie. I think my favorite is Sweetheart City.
That's a cute one, huh?
It's a really cute one. Imagine if that's your address.
How about
1, 1,
Bouquet
2, 3.
Junction? Cute.
Yeah, I don't like that one as much. But it's
Okay,
cute,
fine. Tough crowd.
Thanks, Angie. Love the map and happy Valentine's Day.
Happy Valentine's Day.
All right, let's get to some major news. This is shocking. Out of an Indiana high school, an 18-year-old student has been accused of plotting a mass shooting to take place today on Valentine's Day. The plan was allegedly inspired by the Parkland, Florida school shooting that killed 17 people back in 2018. Student Jamie Shockley is now in custody, facing charges including conspiracy to commit murder and threat to commit terrorism, according to court documents. Now, according to a probable cause affidavit, Shockley went to a counselor at Mooresville's high school this week and expressed a so-called obsession with the shooter in the Parkland attack. Well, new documentary is digging into one of the most shocking murders in recent history. The shooting of United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson at the hands of his accused killer, Luigi Mangione, on the streets of Manhattan. But ahead of the film's release, Mangione's supporters are pushing back. They're calling for a boycott while donations for his legal defense keep growing. NBC News correspondent Sam Brock got an early look at the documentary. He joins us with more on this one. Complicated, even using the word supporters here in the wake of a murder. Sam, good morning.
Yes, and also almost $400,000 raised through thousands of donors. Think about that for a second, Savannah. Good morning. The documentary is set to air on ID and Max this Monday. Its creator, Investigation Discovery, says it aims to unpack Mangione's background and track the trajectory that landed him behind bars. It includes firsthand accounts of those who knew him and try to shed light on why such an accomplished person may have committed such a terrible crime.
The name on the news.
Police arrested Luigi Mangione.
You can see that it was not a professional hit.
In the new documentary, who is Luigi Mangione? Producers at Investigation Discovery attempt to uncover clues about the high-profile murder of United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson and the man accused of doing it.
Bright and cheerful and smiley, and you know who he was right away. Shook my head. It can't be happening.
The 26-year-old high school valedictorian pleading not guilty in court as questions continue to swirl about why the Baltimore man with brains, resources, and a very high-profile family would allegedly lash out with such a shocking act of violence.
They are the epitome of the American dream. He was brilliant.
Giovanna Blatterman says she's known the Mangiones for at least 50 years.
It doesn't make sense. There's something wrong here.
The documentary also explores Mangione writing extensively about suffering from brain fog and his struggles with a debilitating back condition.
The doctors won't have a clue what's going on.
That condition may have been aggravated by a surfing incident in Hawaii. R.J. Martin says Mangione was initially excited about his move there.
And he was looking to make new friends. It's incomprehensible that the person I knew and was friends with could assassinate somebody.
There's also a nod to the nearly $400,000 that have poured in for Mangione's legal fund. His lawyer confirming the money will be used for his defense.
People are donating. They are holding signs up.
The December 4th Legal Committee wanted to give a voice to all the people and the anger that they felt.
That anger connected to a subject Mangione railed against, the healthcare system.
A nurse who donated $100 calls Luigi a soldier of the people.
Controversial support and a myriad of unanswered questions for a man whose legal proceedings are right around the corner. Yeah, speaking of which, so where do we go from here, right? Mangione is facing parallel state and federal cases. The state case is actually, Savannah, set to resume next Friday, so in a matter of days, with a pretrial hearing for a first-degree murder charge in the furtherance of terrorism. The federal charges will pick up back in March. This documentary, coincidentally, is set to be released just as that state case gets going.
I'm sure it's going to get a lot of buzz, a lot of people
No
watching.
doubt.
All right, Sam, thank you so much. Well, much more to come on this hour of Morning News Now, including new concerns over the health of Pope Francis after being hospitalized with an ongoing bout of bronchitis. First, though, after the break, the latest on that horrific car ramming incident in Munich. It injured dozens of people. Why investigators are now saying it was attempted murder. That's next. We are back with the latest on yesterday's scary incident in Munich, Germany, when a car plowed into a crowd. At least 36 people were injured in what authorities are now calling an intentional attack, which they're investigating as being inspired by Islamic extremism. The incident happened as preparations were being made for today's Munich Security Conference, and that is set to be attended by Vice President J.D. Vance and Secretary of State Marco Rubio. NBC News Chief Washington Correspondent Andrea Mitchell is in Munich with more.
Good day from Munich, where the annual security conference has gathered. They are under very tight security, especially because of the attack when the car rammed into a rally of protesters protesting and marching for higher wages, completely unrelated. This police update today says that the man, originally from Afghanistan, was in fact legally a resident of Germany and that he had no criminal background, contrary to what police here said yesterday. That said, they still don't know why he rammed into 1,500 protesters. The update on the injured, there are at least 36 people now injured, several seriously, including at least one child. And that said, they are looking at his social media, trying to find out why this man from Afghanistan was ramming into this protest here in Germany. on the eve of the conference, as it has now gathered with very tight security. As I say, they still do not know why this happened. They are investigating whether he had anyone else involved, but so far they think he was a sole actor.
All right, Andrea, thank you so much. Well, more international headlines now and breaking news from the Vatican. Pope Francis is in the hospital this morning as he continues to battle bronchitis. Danielle Hamamdin joins us with more on that and some other world headlines. Danielle, good morning.
Good morning, Savannah. That's right. We begin in Rome, where Pope Francis has been admitted to hospital. According to the Holy See press office, the Pope is expected to undergo a series of tests and continue treatment for his ongoing bout of bronchitis, which he's been suffering from for several days now. The weekend events he was scheduled to attend have now been cancelled. To northwestern Australia now, where residents have been advised to stay indoors. Tropical cyclone Zelia made landfall in the afternoon local time. The intensity of the winds similar to those of a Category 4 hurricane. This is a part of the country known for its ports and mines that play a key role in the global economy. The cyclone is expected to lose strength as it moves inland over the weekend. And finally, you have to see this to believe it. Watch what happens to this kayaker off Chilean Patagonia. He's briefly swallowed by a humpback whale, then released completely unharmed. What is equally remarkable here is just how composed his father remains. He's the one holding the camera, telling his son to stay calm as he was released from the whale's mouth, both returning to shore without injuries and just gasp. Savannah.
Oh my gosh, right there at the end, for anybody who missed it at the beginning, was when he, it's wow. I mean, it's really just absolutely stunning video, and you're right, kudos to his dad. What a video. Danielle, thank you so much.
To his dad.
We're coming up, a pretty concerning health warning for families this morning. What parents should know about a rise in the number of kids being exposed to dangerous amounts of caffeine in things like energy drinks or those pre-workout powders. And we're going to tell you why they can prove harmful at an early age. The doctor is in up next. We're back with an important warning for parents. A new study from Nationwide Children's Hospital and the Central Ohio Poison Center shows a rise in the number of kids being exposed to dangerous levels of caffeine, and the trend's growing. According to this study, energy drinks and pre-workout powders are becoming more popular, but these products can be harmful to kids. The American Academy of Pediatrics says there's no safe amount of caffeine for children under 12. For more on this, let's bring in Dr. Scott Hadland. He is the chief of adolescent medicine at Mass General. Doctor, good morning. Thanks very much for joining us. Okay, so the study finds that kids, they're increasingly exposed to these types of products. But the drinks that we might think of, like coffee or tea, maybe like a Coke, a soft drink, those are not necessarily the culprit. It's these things I mentioned, energy drinks and these powders, like pre-workout powders. What do these products do that are so harmful to children, and how much are kids being exposed to them?
Well, there really is a rise in the number of kids that are being exposed to these products. And I see this all the time in my practice as a pediatrician who works with a lot of teenagers. And part of the issue here is that they're available everywhere, right? So these energy drinks are often very appealing to young people. They're brightly colored. They're really sweet. They're available in, gas stations, corner stores. Sometimes they're even sold on school premises. And what is particularly dangerous about them is that they have enormously high levels of caffeine in them. So if you think about, for example, a cup of coffee, that typically has about 100 milligrams of caffeine in it. Well, some of these products actually have 200 milligrams of caffeine in them, which means they have the equivalent to 2 cups of coffee. So you can imagine how a young person would really quickly get a lot of caffeine into their system.
Doctor, what are the most common side effects of a caffeine overdose in kids? Like, how can you be sure that you're paying attention if something is just like way too much and maybe it's time to get to a doctor?
Yeah, when kids are experiencing an overdose of caffeine, what they'll have are a really high heart rate, and they'll experience that as palpitations or sometimes even a little bit of chest pain and discomfort. Often they'll get really anxious and kind of irritable and sort of have this sort of just generalized kind of nervous feeling that's really uncomfortable for them. Some will experience nausea, vomiting. In rare cases, some kids have even experienced seizures, according to data that we get from poison control centers. And actually, probably one of the most common side effects that I see in my practice is that it keeps kids up at night because, again, there's so much caffeine in these that it really disrupts sleep.
What would you tell parents who are looking to keep these products away from their kids? Maybe it's not something that they're buying and supplying, but they're getting them at school, something like that. What would you say?
Yeah, I think ideally parents can work in their communities to advocate against these products being so widely available in all of the places that they are, especially in schools where parents might have some leverage to be able to try to get those out of school vending machines and stores, for example. But I think it's really important that parents be aware of just how much caffeine are in these products and talk to their teens about them, because I think that many young people don't understand that, again, the 200 milligrams in one of these cans of an energy drink actually is the equivalent to, say, 6 or 7 cans of Coke, which many kids sort of might drink, and that kind of gives a good reference point for parents of just how much is in these.
I mean, 6 or 7 cans, that is a really good way to put it. You're right. Something that parents understand a little more, and they would certainly not be letting their kids have 6 or 7 cans of Coke. Dr. Hadlin, thank you very much. Important family information.
Thanks for having me.
You got it. Now let's get to the growing drama in Hollywood in this legal feud between It Ends With Us actors Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni. There is, in fact, more. Fans following the case are now looking to another character for potential clues about what really happened between the two stars. NBC News entertainment correspondent Chloe Malas has been covering every step of this story. She's here to break it down. Hey, Chloe, good morning.
Yes, so there is more. The legal drama between the two of them is escalating, and now Blake Lively's legal team is trying to subpoena Justin Baldoni for his phone.
This morning, a new character has quietly entered the growing public battle between It Ends With Us co-stars Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni. The Instagram page of Colleen Hoover, the author of the best-selling novel that the movie was based on, does not have any images or references to Lively or Baldoni. Hoover, who follows Lively but does not follow Baldoni, returning to the social media platform Wednesday after deactivating her account last month. The author previously posted an Instagram story after Lively's initial accusations that appeared to show her support for the actress, writing, "You've been nothing but honest, kind, supportive, and patient since the day we met. Never changed, never willed." Months after the film's release, Lively filed a sexual harassment complaint against Baldoni, accusing him of misconduct during the film's production. Baldoni then filed a $400 million countersuit against Lively, her husband Ryan Reynolds, and their publicists, claiming defamation and extortion. Lively's legal team now subpoenaing Baldoni's phone and text records. Her lawyers saying in a statement that their client has initiated discovery that will expose the people, tactics, and methods that have worked to destroy and bury her reputation and family over the past year. Baldoni's team calling the move a massive fishing expedition, adding they are desperately seeking any factual basis for their provably false claims. The latest legal move comes as previously released audio and video recordings paint a picture of what happened during the production of the film.
Hey, Blake. It is 2 a.m. Hopefully this does not wake you up.
Including this more than 6-minute audio message obtained by the DailyMail.com of Baldoni apologizing to Lively for his lack of enthusiasm for changes she made to a pivotal scene in the movie.
I'm really sorry. I for sure fell short, and you worked really hard on that.
Both Baldoni and Lively's teams declining to comment on the message. And this raw footage released by Baldoni's attorney of them filming a scene.
I'm probably getting very fast. It smells good. Well, it's not bad. It's my body makeup.
An unedited look at the making of a movie in a growing legal battle.
So now some passionate fans are calling for Sony to release Baldoni's original director's cut of It Ends With Us. Wow. And an online petition supporting this already has over 6,000 signatures. But all signs point to this ending up in a courtroom.
Yeah, I gotta say, especially because of all this, I'd be interested in seeing the other cut, comparing them, seeing what's different, right?
Sure, and also seeing what's on everybody's phones. I mean, we thought we saw it all on the website that Justin Baldoni's team created, but it looks like Blake Lively's team thinks that there's even more.
Oof, Chloe, thank you very much. I'm sure we'll be talking about it again. Coming up, you've heard of Rent a Center, maybe Rent the Runway. What about Rent a Chicken? Rent a Chicken. After the break, the new lake, some folks in Connecticut are going to save a few clucks on eggs. Forgive me for that, and please stay with us. Welcome back. We've been talking a lot about how the bird flu The bird flu's not funny, but these noises are very surprising. This bird flu epidemic has pushed up the cost of eggs that shoppers cannot hardly even find them in grocery stores. Well, now one company may have a solution, renting a chicken. Kevin Geis from our affiliate station in Connecticut took a trip to the hen house for more.
Ask some hens, and they'll tell you farm fresh is the way to go.
Hey, girls.
On a farm in Wallingford, a flock of chickens are maturing, almost ready to start laying.
Well, there's always something fun going on at the coop. These are our November babies, so they'll start laying eggs in probably about March.
But these hens won't just be filling a farm stand. Some of these birds are destined to spread their wings and travel.
If you have a dog, a cat, you can take care of a chicken.
Rent a Chicken Connecticut is part of a larger national brand. Starting at $500, you get a coop, food, supplies, and of course, 2 hens. For about 6 months, roughly April to October, you average about 1 egg per chicken per day, right in your backyard. They say you're almost guaranteed a consistent flow.
And it just kept mushrooming every year.
That reassurance has boosted business in the 5 years they've been renting hens. Joe DeFrancesco says egg shortages due to the bird flu have led people to think outside the 4 walls of a grocery store. And by renting, you can determine if you want to purchase your own.
It's more of a learning experience, not, yes, you get an egg per chicken per day, and that's a great thing knowing you have your eggs in your backyard and you're guaranteed.
They know the health and safety of their chickens is important, especially with bird flu spreading. They'll help you get situated with the birds when they arrive and can always answer questions. And once they're comfortable, the benefits, they say, go beyond breakfast.
It's actually very relaxing to listen and watch a chicken.
All right, thanks to Kevin for that report. Well, each town and city has regulations about backyard livestock, but the company says they will do the research for you to make sure you are in compliance. No more chicken noises this morning. All right, more financial headlines now. GameStop is reportedly eyeing investments in crypto. CNBC's Silvana Henao joins us with that and other news. Hey, Silvana.
Hey, Savannah, good morning to you. Yeah, GameStop may be jumping on that Bitcoin bandwagon. CNBC has learned the video game retailer may start investing in alternative assets such as cryptocurrencies. Now, the stock surged earlier this week after CEO Ryan Cohen posted a picture of himself on social media with Michael Saylor. He's a chairman of software company MicroStrategy. That's the biggest corporate holder of Bitcoin. Igloo is recalling more than 1 million rolling coolers following reports of injuries to fingertips, including amputations. The Consumer Product Safety Commission says the toe handle on the 90-quart flip and toe coolers can pinch or crush your fingers. Igloo has received a dozen reports of injuries. The coolers were sold between 2019 and this year at stores and online, including Amazon and Costco. People should stop using them and contact the company for a free replacement handle. And there's a major cocoa shortage worldwide. Supplies in London and New York at our all-time lows, forcing chocolate makers to seek alternative ingredients. Consumers are also feeling the pinch with smaller bars and newer formulas that scrimp on the cocoa. Retail chocolate prices are up to 20% higher this Valentine's Day from last year. That's according to Wells Fargo. Bad weather and disease have battered crops in the world's top producing countries, which is Ivory Coast and Ghana. Savannah.
All right, Silvana, thank you so much. And happy Valentine's Day. Today, in the digital age of technology, love looks a lot different than it used to. Many people are finding love online through dating apps, social media, or online chat rooms. And with the rise of artificial intelligence, people are able to get help in crafting their dating profiles, sorting matches, even messaging loved ones. But there can be unintended side effects to letting AI do the work in building a real-world connection. For more on this, let's bring in Damona Hoffman. She is the author of F the Fairy Tale, host of the Dates and Mates podcast, and Joe's former roommate, most importantly. Damona, good morning. We love to bring that up. I'm sorry Joe's not here, but it's great to see you, and happy Valentine's Day. So tell us how people are making these connections using AI.
Oh, AI has crept into everything from dating profile creation to messaging back and forth. The dating apps are incorporating some of these AI features into the way that you even interact with the app. One app just announced that you can get prompts to help you to do basically my job to help you write your dating profile better. And even when we look at the way people are using predictive text and even cutting and pasting from apps like ChatGPT, we're starting to use it for very intimate conversations. In fact, 1 in 4 people say that they would consider using AI to write a breakup text. That comes from a study from the brand Who Gives a Crap. And that same study also found, though, that a lot of people can't really detect if AI is being used to communicate with them. 39% said they're somewhat uncertain, and 19% said they're completely uncertain if they're talking to a real person or if they're maybe talking to a bot.
It's such a quirky thing, right? Like, we're using AI to help us in a lot of ways. I know a lot of our viewers probably use ChatGPT, to look up a recipe or to get help when their kid has a fever or something like that. So, in some ways it makes sense, but it's not always a good thing, right? When it's brought into these real world relationships, you don't want, to the point you just made, to think you know somebody's communication style, kind of what your banter's like, and it turns out, oh, that wasn't really them. It was a chatbot. What are some of these unintended side effects when you let AI help?
Well, there are side effects in terms of how the actual language that's chosen affects the impact that it has. So when we're using predictive text, a lot of times the text, one, it's trained on certain voices and may not reflect other voices accurately. And also it tends to be more positive. This is out of the Stanford Social Media Lab. There's a lot of research on just the tone of AI. It's really not intended for intimate emotional conversation. So there's that factor. And then there's just the factor of we learn by interacting with one another. We learn how to communicate. And if we are relying on AI to do that for us, we're not really fortifying those skills ourselves. And we may really lose that ability to connect with each other on a deep level.
Ooh, that would just be such a bummer. So we got to be careful of that fine line there. Okay, you're also going to help us out with Valentine's Day gifts, which is so exciting. A lot of people wait until the last minute. Obviously, it's very much the last minute right now. Do you have gift ideas for people who might want to give something other than like flowers or chocolates? Because, everybody gives flowers and chocolates. What can you do to convey your specific feelings or that says something about your specific relationship and connection?
Yeah, Savannah, flowers and chocolates basically say, I don't care that much, but I'm supposed to give you something. I encourage people to think a little bit deeper about their connection. So I love sentimental gift ideas. And some of these are quick and low cost. So you could do a scrapbook of different memories and photos, of even creating a photo album. Don't use AI to do it. Actually select the photos. You could do a memory jar. My husband did that for me one year, and it was wonderful. He and my kids just wrote down different memories that they cherished in their time together. And now I can go back into that jar anytime that I want to pull out a memory and reconnect my family. You can do gifts that inspire the senses. They're everything from create your own perfume to tapping into different flavors. One year, my husband got me I'm a popcorn connoisseur, so he got me like a popcorn, unique flavors of popcorn from all around the world. And also playlists, just creating a playlist and not just, again, not letting Spotify do it for you, but actually selecting photos and doing a rundown of why you chose each. That can really help you reconnect with your partner. And the best thing is put something on the books for the future. Beyonce tickets just went on sale, or plan a weekend away. Plan a time in the future so that you and your partner can stay connected, not just on Valentine's Day, but on every day.
Beyonce tickets, that's a great one. If you're able to snag them, you can go online right now. All right, Damona, thank you very much, and happy Valentine's Day.
Same to you.
Well, today, Philadelphia is getting ready for a date with the Lombardi Trophy. Sorry, Chiefs fans, but the Eagles are going to get to celebrate their latest Super Bowl victory with a parade through the city. Fans are buzzing with anticipation right now as they're going to cheer on the Eagles for winning their second championship in team history after their blowout win on Sunday. One of those lifelong Eagles fans is our own Emily Aketa. She joins us from the city of brotherly love with more on what to expect today. Emily, I'm very happy that you're the one on this assignment. How's it going so far?
Well, the party is very much underway, as you can see. And for anyone who's ever questioned Eagles fans' devotion, some of these folks have been out here since yesterday afternoon in hopes of getting an up-close chance to see those Super Bowl champions who will be parading down Benjamin Franklin Parkway here, landing at the Philadelphia Art Museum as the Bird Gang gets ready to celebrate an unforgettable season.
Just days after dominating the Kansas City Chiefs in Super Bowl 59, the Philadelphia Eagles are preparing for a Super Bowl-sized celebration in the city of brotherly love, fittingly on Valentine's Day.
I love my city. I am so excited for all of us.
A championship parade traveling through downtown Philly today, starting this morning at the team's home stadium and ending at the city's renowned Museum of Art, whose iconic steps are part of cinematic lore. Some fans camping outside the museum since 1:30 p.m. Thursday, hoping to get a front row seat to history.
I might get to touch Jalen Hurts if I stay right here.
With more than 1 million Eagles fans expected, city officials highlighting a detailed security plan in the wake of last year's mass shooting at the Kansas City Chiefs parade. It's been a whirlwind week for the Birds, returning home with the Lombardi Trophy in hand and stopping by The Tonight Show.
1, 2, 3.
And in Studio 1A, where Super Bowl MVP Jalen Hurts weighed in on the famous tush-push play.
Does it feel kind of good? Thoughts?
No thoughts. Yeah, no thoughts on that. Just trying to win the game, that's all.
One of our favorite Eagles fans, Declan LeBaron, will watch today's parade from a local pizza shop with his family. Declan's generosity in the face of physically debilitating health challenges inspiring us all.
E-A-G-L-E-S, Eagles!
He joined us on Today as the NFL gifted him and his family Super Bowl tickets with a little help from actor and fellow Philly fan Bradley Cooper. The dynamic duo and fellow super fans alike now celebrating the culmination of a season Philly will never forget.
And more good news for Eagles fans. Jason Kelsey, who played for the Eagles for 13 years, says he will be here at today's parade. He's a fan favorite after his very memorable speech at the 2018 Super Bowl victory parade in a Mummers costume. So who knows what we can expect for today. As a Philly area native myself, I can assure you a whole lot of fun and a whole lot of green. Huh, guys?
Emily, happy for you. Thank you for your hard-hitting reporting here. I appreciate it. Enjoy yourself. Good to see you. Have fun. Coming up, it's finally Friday, so after the break, we're looking ahead to SNL's 50th anniversary spectacular. That's airing on Sunday. We'll also tell you everything else that you simply can't miss this weekend with none other than our friend and pop culture guru, Brian Balthazar. That's hard to say. Grab your popcorn. That's up next. We are back now with more on our week-long celebration of Saturday Night Live's 50th anniversary. Tonight, there is a big concert. It features some of the past musical guests. It's followed by a live 3-hour special, of course, on Sunday night. Don't forget, it's Sunday, not Saturday. Here's NBC News reporter Mark Barger with the details.
Good morning, Savannah. Valentine's Day in New York City. What better time to be showing the love for Saturday Night Live. I'm in front of Radio City Music Hall and our 30 Rock headquarters. They'll both be seen to milestone celebrations this weekend for a comedy institution.
But wait, there's more.
Today's cast of SNL is part of something
Live from New York, it's Saturday night.
that started before they were born.
I think it's very meaningful because, like, my mom has a relationship to the show, my grandma has a relationship to the show.
And now these current stars have their own role in the 50-year legacy honored this weekend.
I get starstruck, so I know that that's going to happen this weekend.
Radio City Music Hall starts the party tonight. Lady Gaga, Miley Cyrus, Bad Bunny, David Byrne, Jelly Roll, and many others in a homecoming concert. Then, Sunday's main event, a 3-hour special in Studio 8H featuring some of the most popular hosts and many of the 167 cast members from over the decades.
And I can see Russia from my house.
If the 14-year-old version of me knew that I would be celebrating SNL, my head wants to explode.
The insurgent comedy show Lorne Michaels created against the odds.
We were really just like the redheaded stepchild of
NBC.
Has grown and evolved
Get off the shed!
into a touchstone of American humor.
I just want to honor Lorne and all he's done.
Even a man known for his wisecracks
I love this guy.
is humbled by SNL's impact.
It's really a landmark television program.
One that is ready to celebrate. Mark Barger, NBC News, New York. Now, the concert will be streaming tonight on Peacock, but the big 3-hour extravaganza you'll see live Sunday on NBC. And rehearsals for that began on Wednesday. But as we know, over 50 years of Saturday Night Live, changes and adjustments continue right up until showtime. We might even see some after the show starts Sunday night. I'm Mark Barger in New York. Savannah, back to you.
All right, you are live from New York. Mark Barger, thank you so much. And don't forget, you can catch the SNL 50th anniversary special featuring some of its biggest stars, musical guests, members of the original cast. It's going to be insane. It's this Sunday at 8 p.m. Eastern on NBC and also streaming on Peacock. And don't forget about that concert tonight. All right, so aside from SNL, there's a lot of other stuff that you just can't miss this weekend. We are so lucky to have our friend Brian Balthazar here with us, pop culture expert, friend of the show. Brian, good morning.
Good morning.
Okay, there's so much to talk about. We're so excited about this one today. Captain America, Brave New World. Huge franchise.
Yes.
What do we think about this?
So we have Anthony Mackie stepping into the role of Captain America and Harrison Ford as President Thaddeus Ross. Now, I don't want to give away spoilers, but I will say, people who know the Marvel Comics characters will know that there are very strong clues of a new villain showing up in this film.
Oh, okay.
And so now critics have been a little divided on this, but the viewers themselves, moviegoers, have had much more positive thoughts about it. So I think it's going to do pretty well.
Okay, there you go. Love that. I always agree with the viewers, not the critics.
I know, critics, I mean, their job is to be critical.
It's a great movie. I'm like, I'm not going to finish this.
Some of them lean towards a little bit of like hating, and they're critics. They're called critics. So,
yeah, but they always like really boring stuff. I'm like, what's the deal? Okay, Paddington, different kind of hero, but this is so interesting. He's going from London to Peru.
Yeah, did you know that's where he's from? Paddington is from Peru. Yeah, I actually looked it up. So
did he tell you that?
Yeah, he did. Told me over a Zoom call. So Paddington goes back to Peru with the Brown family to visit his Aunt Mary, who's in a retirement home for bears. There's an unexpected mystery that turns up. Olivia Colman is in this version, so sign me up right there. And also a brief moment from the late Queen Elizabeth will make a moment.
Look at our banner. Is politest a word?
I think in this film it is. I think that probably can. And this is if you want.
Was that a thing about what it's called? He's the politest bear. Is that like a cutesy
well,
thing?
I mean,
I've never seen it.
It sounds in characture. I'm not like a huge what's the word for Swifty? I'm not a Paddington.
Brian, we expected you to come here and know everything about Paddington. We were going to ask you about it. Thanks a lot for doing your homework, Brian.
Oh, sorry.
Okay.
Next up, we have Bridget Jones.
This is so exciting. Renee Zellweger. Okay.
On Peacock, no less. And Bridget Jones, this is not about the boy, but the unusual twist in this is that she's now a widow. Darcy has passed away. It's been nearly 10 years since the last film where she was pregnant or having a baby, but look who we have back, Hugh Grant.
So she's like she falls in love again?
Well, I don't know. I don't want to give it away. You're going to have to tune
in. He doesn't know because he didn't do his homework.
I do love... Well, why am I going to tell you the ending? Although I'm going to say they're probably getting along. I think a little romance may be in store.
Okay.
Romantic tension, but I don't want to give it away. But I love her in this role. And people do.
I just have to see her back too. I feel like it's been a little bit since we've seen something.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay, Yellow Jackets season 3.
Yes. Do you watch the show?
Okay, so I know, that's what I was just going to say. So I loved season 1, and then season 2, I don't think I finished. I think it kind of lost me.
So get back on it. I mean, I will say it's for those people who don't know it, you really should watch it from season 1. It has 2 timelines. It follows teenage girls who their plane crashes. There's a soccer team. Their plane crashes, and what happens after is very Lord of the Flies-ish.
Yeah.
But they also then have 1996 timeline and present day timeline.
Yep.
And so season 3, there are going to be 5 seasons in total, and this season brings in new characters, right? Okay. Hilary Swank will be in this one, and Joel McHale. And, of course, more what?
I have a challenge for you. Now we have 3 questions in like 30 seconds because I do want to touch on all these. The White Lotus, everybody's so excited about.
Yes. Okay, Jennifer Coolidge is out, but Natasha Rothwell from season 1 is back.
Yep,
Parker Posey, again, someone's going to die. Not since Murder, She Wrote have we seen so many deaths at one place. The TripAdvisor ratings for this hotel chain must be a nightmare.
Oh, my God, hilarious. Right. Okay, and that's Sunday night, I think, right?
Yes, that is Sunday.
Okay, cannot wait to watch that. Okay, Questlove, we got to shout out our friend Questlove.
Yes. Okay, he does a documentary on Sly and the Family Stone. known, and he won the Oscar for
he's just incredible. It's
Summer
getting a lot of
Soul.
buzz too.
This is really, really great. It's just about the ascent to fame and the struggles and expectations that come with it.
And the last thing is just a word of advice from both of us. Do yourself a favor and go listen to the new song by Sabrina Carpenter and Dolly Parton. They did Please, Please, Please together. It's amazing.
She's fantastic.
Brian, love you.
Thank you. Love you more.
That's going to do it. Happy Friday. The news continues right now.
Thanks for watching. Stay updated about breaking news and top stories on the NBC News app or follow us on social media.